Everyone, it's Monday at GazWeatherVids.com, which means only one thing. It's Europe Day. Every Monday at GazWeatherVids, we have a look at the weather for the coming week across the continent. Today's that section. Actually, I didn't do it last week. I'm having to take a few sort of days off just to rest my voice and throat a little bit, so that I don't have any repercussions of the cough that I generated last autumn from sort of voice strain. Doing the very long videos at the moment, looking at the winter, and it does put a bit of a strain on the voice. So occasionally I have to leave the odd video off, and last week it was the European Outlook. But it's back this week, hopefully it'll be back again next week as well. Now, before I get on with the European Outlook, just to say about the website that we're using for the video, it's weathercentral.de. You can find the link to that on my links page. So, since last time we spoke, winter has set in across the far north and northeast of Europe and into western parts of Russia. It's going to be a pretty cold week in the far northeast this week. Elsewhere, autumnal conditions with a lot of anticyclonic influences down through the Med. Let's get on with the video, and here we go for today. We've got low pressure out in the Atlantic around Iceland, stretched down into the central part of the Atlantic. That's the remains of Hurricane Gonzalo that's bearing down on the British Isles and northwestern Europe generally. It's an unsettled scene through many northern parts of Europe. Cold air digging into Scandinavia and western parts of Russia from this area of high pressure nosing out of the Arctic. They've got a lot of high pressure extending through the Med, keeping it largely dry and warm in many of those southern parts of Europe. Big north-south split with the temperatures. These are the upper air temperatures for today, showing it's warm through most of the Med, autumnal through these central areas, and then go up into the north and northeast. It's very cold up there. Winter has well and set in. And the divide line is quite a bit of precipitation, so it's mostly dry throughout the whole of the Med. Quite unusual to see that this late in October from Portugal on the Atlantic side, right way through to Turkey. Yeah, it's mainly dry today through the Med. But coming further north, very unsettled with showers or longer spells of rain through many northern and central parts of Europe. And as we get up in towards northeastern parts of Europe, across central northern Scandinavia, and going down into western Russia, northeastern Europe, some of that is falling as sleet or snow. This big area of rain out here to the northwest of the British Isles is the remains of Hurricane Gonzalo. Temperatures today, pretty warm through the Med. It's going to be another very warm day there, getting up at least into the mid-20s, if not the high 20s, well above average really for this late in the year. Elsewhere though, further north, near normal sort of temperatures really, we're into the low to mid-teens, and you can't see it, but going further north and east of that, it does get pretty cold very quickly. Now, moving through to the middle part of the week, high pressure is there through France, down into Spain and Portugal as well. A tiny bit more unsettled in the southeast of the Mediterranean through the continent. The remains of Hurricane Gonzalo has come through the British Isles, and it's sitting there across central parts of Europe, so from Germany into Poland. And then we've got this area of high pressure setting in over Scandinavia, bringing that cold air from western Russia down into parts of Scandinavia. Upper air temperature showing it's very cold scene for the middle of the week in many of these northern, northeastern parts of Europe. Still warm through the Med, but a little bit cooler down in the southeast. Very warm across Spain and Portugal. It's beginning to warm back up again across excuse me, across Ireland, United Kingdom and western parts of France as well. The rainfall shows that it's largely dry but bitterly cold up over Scandinavia, and then we've got risk of some snow through southern parts of Scandinavia and going down into the northeast of Europe. Rain as we extend further south of that into the Balkans and southeastern parts of Europe. Mainly dry through the central western bowl of the Med, dry for France. Showers or longer spells of rain really for British Isles, and may extend in towards Germany as well. Temperatures as we move through into the middle part of the week, pretty cold really, or cool certainly out in the west. Despite the dry weather across France, temperatures aren't anything to write home about, just into the low to mid-teens as well. Going into central parts of Europe, yeah, pretty cold there, temperatures into single digits across many parts of Germany and Poland, and it's even cold as you go up to the far northeast of Europe, but it's warm through the Mediterranean. The Med still holding up into the low to mid-20s. Going through to the end of the week, that area of high pressure is still in there across the western parts of Russia, being pushed back a little bit as milder air begins to extend into Scandinavia. Otherwise, a ridge extends through most parts of Europe, keeping it mainly dry, although there will be more rain likely for Ireland and the United Kingdom, and also down into the southeast of Europe, Greece and Turkey. Could have some showers or longer spells of rain down there. Warm upper air temperatures out in the west, although it won't be that warm down on the surface, at least for France, but very warm still for Spain and Portugal. Unsettled really for the northwest of Europe, so showers, longer spells of rain, and pretty cool really for the United Kingdom. But as you come through in towards Scandinavia, actually temperatures will be starting to warm up a little bit. That very cold air is pushed back into western parts of Russia. Rainfall at the end of the week shows that we've got a weather front lying through Ireland in towards southern parts of England and Wales. That extends in towards the Low Countries, northern Germany, Denmark, and then going northwards into Scandinavia. Some of this will be falling as sleet or snow, at least on the leading edge, as that milder air begins to push in. Then through many areas, a sausage of mainly dry weather actually. Good deal of dry weather there, until we come down into the southeast, where there could be some showers along rain. It's warming up out in the west, so the upper air temperatures are reflecting that. It should be lifting the temperatures down on the surface a little bit over France, changing the air mass to a more Atlantic source air mass. Although it's still pretty cool across Scotland, but warming up across the south of England. Central parts of Europe near normal temperatures into the low to mid teens, and then getting up into the northeast. Well, temperatures are struggling to get above freezing by the time you get through to western parts of Russia. And then finally going through to next weekend, looks like it's a southeast northwest split really. A lot of high pressure through the south and into the east of Europe, unsettled out to the northwest under this trough of low pressure. So the upper air temperatures show that the warmth is extending into central parts of Europe, pushing that cold air back into the central part of Russia. So even western Russia beginning to warm up a little bit by next weekend, turning pretty autumnal out to the northwest, to be honest, or staying pretty autumnal out to the northwest. Rainfall, a lot of dry weather actually from Spain and Portugal through these central parts up into the northeast. Showers down around the Black Sea, and showers or longer spells of rain across Ireland, United Kingdom, Scandinavia, Denmark, and the Low Countries as well. Finally having a look at the temperatures, they're lifting up in the northeast, but still pretty cold. Elsewhere, actually a push of milder air through these central areas. Ireland and the United Kingdom largely near normal. So a lot of temperature contrast, a lot of contrasting weather really going on this week. I think for much of the south and east, a lot of dry weather, always more unsettled up to the north and the northwest. Very cold around the middle of the week for Scandinavia and western parts of Russia, but very gradually that cold air will be pushed back towards next weekend in towards Russia. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.